You ever wanted to really get inside a great work of philosophy or literature? I mean, to understand it on a level that goes way beyond just a quick summary? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're unpacking a powerful framework to help you do just that.
So let's start with a problem that I think we all recognize. We often know the famous one-liner from a great thinker. You know, the bumper sticker version of their big idea. But we totally miss the genius behind it.
I mean, take this line from Descartes. It's got to be one of the most famous phrases in all of philosophy. But what was he actually trying to solve? See, he was living in a time of just radical scientific and religious change, and he was desperately searching for one single, undeniable truth to build a whole new foundation for knowledge. This quote, this wasn't his final answer. It was the very first step, his only solid ground after deciding to doubt literally everything else.
Oh, not even close. Knowing the quote is one thing, right? But understanding the intellectual crisis that drove him to it, this radical process of methodical doubt he used, and the huge conclusions about God and the world that he built on top of it, that's the real story. And the bumper sticker summaries, they miss all that amazing context and nuance. And that's exactly what this is all about. We're going to give you a set of tools, a really powerful method to deconstruct any major work and genuinely get what makes it so groundbreaking. So, let's open up this toolkit. These are pretty much the exact strategies that experts use to analyze complex ideas and engage with them in a really meaningful way. It all comes down to these 4 essential steps, and you can think of it as a clear, methodical process. First, we figure out the conversation the author was joining. Then, we trace their logic step by step. Next, we pinpoint their unique contribution, and finally, we have to look at the critiques. Okay, so let's put this toolkit into action. We're going to keep using Descartes' work as our guide to really break down how to use each of these tools and peel back the layers of a truly great work.
Step 1, context, and this is so crucial. No great work is created in a vacuum. For Descartes, the big thing was scholastic philosophy, which relied really heavily on tradition and authority. He was basically responding to a crisis of certainty. Understanding this intellectual battlefield is the absolute first key to unlocking his work.
Next up, we map the argument. This is where you kind of put on your detective hat. Descartes' starting point, his premise, is the act of doubting itself. From there, he logically builds to I think, therefore I am as his very first certainty. And the final conclusion? That a non-deceiving God must exist. You also have to spot the hidden assumptions, like his belief that his own reasoning is reliable.
Step 3 is all about identifying the innovation. See, when a thinker introduces a truly new idea, they often have to invent new language for it. Descartes' big innovation was his method of doubt and establishing the thinking self, what gets called the cogito, as the starting point for all knowledge. That's the real game changer.
And finally, step 4. And you can't skip this one. You don't truly understand an idea until you understand the best arguments against it. Descartes faced objections right away. For example, critics said his proof for God was circular, and engaging with these critiques forces you to see an idea's limits and its real strength.
So you might be thinking, okay, that's a nice little academic exercise, but why does this really matter today? Well, the thing is, these ideas have a way of sticking around. They don't just stay in old books.
This just illustrates it perfectly. A concept like formal logic, which was born back in ancient Greece, doesn't just stay there. It ripples through the Enlightenment, becomes the actual backbone of 20th century computing, and now it's at the very center of today's debates on AI ethics.
I mean, these foundational questions are still being argued every single day in our courtrooms, in our tech labs, and in our political arenas. The language might change, but the core philosophical debates, they often stay the same.
So here's the crucial point. Learning to deconstruct these classic works isn't just about understanding the past. It's about sharpening your own critical thinking skills so you can analyze any complex argument you run into, whether it's in a book, a news article, or a meeting at work.
Now for the final and I think most creative step in this whole process. Taking an idea and really stress testing it by pushing it to its absolute logical extreme.
And we do this with something called a thought experiment. It's basically a hypothetical scenario you cook up to explore the implications of a theory. It's like the ultimate stress test for any philosophical framework.
For example, let's take an old idea about personal identity and slam it into modern technology. If an AI could perfectly copy you, I mean, right down to your memories and your personality, is that copy you? What kind of rights would it have? This isn't just sci-fi. It forces us to get really clear on what we even mean by personhood.
And that's the whole point, right? These scenarios aren't just fun little games. They are designed to put an idea under immense pressure, to see where it holds up and where it starts to break down. This is how we find the hidden consequences of what we believe.
So ultimately, by using this toolkit, by digging into the context, mapping the argument, finding the innovation, and testing its limits, you move way beyond the simple bumper sticker. You get to engage with an idea on its own terms. And that is where you discover its true, lasting power.
This is for entertainment and educational purposes only.